On his radio show yesterday, Dennis Prager talked about the 17-year-old girl who he met, and she's a summer camp counselor. She was saying she had to have a week of training, including 2 hours of sexual harassment training before she started work. And Dennis asked her, well, what did you learn in sexual harassment training? He said, well, we learned that we're not allowed to have the children sit on our laps. We're not allowed to touch the kids. They can sit beside us, but they can't sit on our laps. Now, I was a summer camp counselor. If any of you are wondering, Levi, you would have made such an amazing summer camp counselor. I wish you were my summer camp counselor when I was a vulnerable teenager. I could have looked to you for moral leadership. And I was very much a model camp counselor. I was a summer camp counselor at Pacific Union College in the Napa Valley in the summer of 1982. We had a week of training before the kids showed up. Dennis Prager said that when he was a summer camp counselor in the early 1960s, mid-1960s, they got no training, just the kids arrived and off we went. I was a model camp counselor. I was headed for my junior year of high school, and I fell in love with one of the girls under my charge, an 8th grade girl. I think her name was Shelley, and I think she fell in love with me. And we did not express our feelings in a physical way. We just had a lot of good conversations. And then after the summer, over the next 9 months, we wrote each other letters. So I guess you could say that our love was transgressive, but it was so strong that we forsook the bourgeois boundaries that cramped the style of so many of our contemporaries. Finally, in June 1983, we met up again in person one weekend at Pacific Union College. I think it was a Thursday night. And I remember walking into the Bible study where we were meeting up, week of prayer, something like that. And I think Shelley turned around to look at me, and all her friends turned around to look at me too, and then kind of summoned the courage and walked up near the front where she was sitting and sat next to her. And our conversation that night was awkward. We'd been exchanging all these heartfelt letters, but now we were together. And after the prayer meeting, I told her I was going off to play a basketball game and invited her to come watch me, and she came along, and I thought everything's going great. And then I look up from the basketball game and she's no longer there. And I don't know what went wrong. I think I didn't pay her enough attention. By going off to play basketball, she felt like I was giving her the cold shoulder, so then she gave me the cold shoulder. And then Saturday night she was leaving, so we exchanged a long, meaningful hug, and that was it. No more letters, no more longings, finito. I wonder if Air Supply ever wrote a song about young love. I hear she became a really religious Seventh-day Adventist. She was cute and sweet. Normally I'm a very strong man, and it takes a particularly attractive woman to break down my otherwise sturdy boundaries. Perhaps I was not as morally strong in those days as I am today. I still remember that hug goodbye. It was just so full and rich, and I was just dying for female affection. I was 16. I remember when prowling around later that night telling my buddies that I had to get some action. I think it was shortly thereafter that I bought condoms for the first time in my life. Never had reason to use them for another 6 years, Baruch Hashem. Why did I not realize that all the action that I needed was in the Torah, and all I had to do was to scoop it out? Dennis Prager says that I'd like to know in the history of American camping how many girls were sexually abused by camp counselors. Well, not me. None were abused by me. I was totally respectful. Dennis Prager says this is the leftist vision of society, risk-free, better safe than sorry, to which my argument is better free than safe. Do I want some safety? Of course. Should there be rules on pilots drinking? Yes. Being a non-leftist does not make you an